Hey guys, it's Eric, and today I want to talk to you about burgers, diamonds, and CEOs. Eric, what the hell are you talking about? Well, okay, so I'm going to go back in time a little bit. So when I first started out in business coaching some 15 years ago, I was at that level where income-wise I was making more than my clients were. And so, I had that like, well, I could tell you anything I want to tell you because, I make more than you kind of attitude, or at least, well, hopefully not jerky like that, but something to that effect. Anyway, then I started scaling up, and what happened was, I started working with people who were making a little bit more than me, and I got over that discomfort. And then I remember the first time I worked with somebody who was making seven figures, and I was like, well, don't really know what the hell I'm going to say to this guy, but we worked together, doubled sales, and everybody was happy, and we made some magic happen. And then I remember, yeah, and I'd kind of always been a little uncomfortable. It's kind of like, do I really belong here kind of thing. And then I remember a number of years ago, I was called into an event by Chief Executive Magazine. And they had a very small gathering over at the New York Stock Exchange. And there was several very high-level CEOs, and a small pool of people were invited to come and advise these CEOs on a particular situation, various situations that were going on. And so for some reason, I got this invite and they said, we want you to show up and advise a CEO. And I was like, me? Okay. And so I show up, and I and about three or four other people are ushered into a room, and we sit down with the CEO of McDonald's. And what we were put in there to do was to, there was a lot of stuff in the media at that time about CEOs getting paid way too much versus everybody else, and it's not fair, and people have lost their life savings because of stock market stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm sitting there, and I've got next to me, this guy next to me is working for, he's a professor at an Ivy League school. He's written multiple books, and he works for some high-end, one of the high-ticket consulting firms. And just these people, they've all got 10 books and PhDs, and they're all working for management consulting, for well-known management consulting firms and whatever, sitting all around me. And then there's me. And for about half an hour, they're all talking about, doing things for the community, and, bringing more attention to, I don't know, going and planting trees, or, anything to make the company look better and to make the CEO look better. And he, he's sitting there and he's taking his notes and everything. And I'm sitting, and for the first half of this thing, I'm sitting there, I just keep saying to myself, what the hell am I doing in this room? And that feeling of like, I don't belong here. I'm not up to this caliber. I don't have anything to offer. What am I supposed to, And then all of a sudden, that was the big voice in my head. And then all of a sudden, in the back of my head was this very faint voice that said, this is all bullshit. And I was like, what? And it was like, everything these people are saying, it's all BS. It's not going to help this guy. And he's taking these notes and whatever, but I get A, he probably doesn't want to hear this, and B, this isn't really going to move the needle for anything. Say that. And I was like, no, I'm just going to sit here quiet. I'm not going to say a goddamn thing because I shouldn't be in this room, and these people are much smarter. Just say it. Like, I really don't want to. Say it, Eric. Like, okay. And then there was a lull, because everybody was talking cross back, forth. And then there was this kind of lull. And some polite version of some multisyllabic polite version of this is all bullshit came out of my mouth. And it was like dead silence. Everybody turns towards me. And I stopped thinking for about 8 minutes straight, and I just started talking. And I don't ask me what the hell I said, except that the gist of it was that whoever's buying McDonald's food right now is going to keep buying McDonald's food because they love McDonald's food. It doesn't matter what you do. There are people who, no matter what you do, they're never going to buy McDonald's food. And even if they like you as a person, they're still not going to come buy McDonald's food. And then you have some people, you have the people who will buy it sometimes and won't buy it other times. And you have people, maybe you have a small smattering of people who are on the fence about maybe I'll buy it, maybe I won't. And they're so small, it's almost insignificant. And so to go spend 20, $30 million on, to some advertising firm to do a PR campaign to show you planting trees or whatever, so that people say, well, at least he's a nice guy, but you're going to spend all that money and make none of it back. Okay, so even the people, even though they might say he's a great guy, but they're still not going to buy your burgers. It doesn't matter. So it's a pointless waste of time. Don't even do it. Again, it was about 8 minutes long, multisyllabic, very polished and professional sounding, but it was just like stream of consciousness. And then I was done. It was the complete antithesis of what everybody else at the table had been saying about trying to, make his image better and all this other stuff. And it was funny because everybody had been dead set on, okay, try to make the guy's image better, blah, 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 and everything. And as soon as I was done, I could tell the entire momentum of the room had shifted. The guy next to me, the PhD, Ivy League professor guy goes, yeah, Eric's right, because blah, blah, blah. And he took it and he started phrasing it in his own words, but for the next half an hour, they were basically all parroting some modified version of what I had said. And like a couple seconds after I was done, I looked over at JP. JP was the guy who invited me. And he was the guy who arranged this whole thing. He had this little impish grin on his face looking at me for the whole rest of this meeting. And when we were done, everybody else is walking out. And he kind of hangs back, and he and I are the last two walking out. He puts his arm around me, and he just looks at me and says, sometimes it pays to be the contrarian. And he just taps me on the back of it, and then he just walks out of the room. And I was stunned, and I went down and I got my picture taken with champagne on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and had a bunch of overpriced hors d'oeuvres and whatever. But why am I telling you this story, aside from it being a funny story? Because a lot of times in our life, and it can be in your business when you're facing new clients or new market or whatever, it can be in your personal life when you're faced with new people or new challenges or whatever, there can be this feeling of, I'm not this person. I shouldn't be here. This isn't, I'm not valuable enough, or I don't know enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough. And I will tell you this, that the right opportunities come to you, and the right people come to you, and they seek you out. Because JP knew something about me, and that's why he wanted me in that room, along with all those other people. JP knew something about me I didn't know about myself, which was I'm a diamond. I was a diamond in the rough, but I was a diamond. Matter of fact, I'm a diamond mine. I have a bunch of polished diamonds, right? Things I've done in the past that I can show you. Here's testimonials and blah, and books and systems, and that's all the diamonds that have been taken out and polished. But still within me is countless diamonds in the rough, and that's the value that other people see. So even if the diamonds you've brought out haven't reached a particular level that matches some other level that, some billionaire comes to talk to me, my initial thought would have been, why would a billionaire talk to me? Now I realize something. The billionaire sees the diamonds that I don't see. So what are the diamonds in you that people don't see? Or sorry, that you don't see, that people see? And that's the key thing. So when those opportunities come, when you feel like, this is bigger than me, I can't handle this. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not this person. I'm not this guy or this gal, etc. I'm in the wrong place. They must have made a mistake. Remember that you're never anywhere that you can't handle. Source will never bring you more than you can handle, which means your diamonds are being called up right now. Now is the time for those diamonds to come out and start being polished and cut and everything else like that. So there you go. That's your thought for the day, is that even if you can't look at the diamonds that have already come out of the mine that is you, polished and everything else, and say, I don't understand why you're inviting me with this pitiful little handful of diamonds that I've been able to produce. Understand that within you are countless, precious diamonds that have yet to be brought to the surface, cut and polished. And that's where your real value is to people. Everything that's in the past, hey, those diamonds are gone anyway. So your real value is the diamonds within you. Remember, you are a diamond mine, which means your worth is infinite and your capacity is infinite. Don't forget that. Just remember that for the rest of your life and your career, and you will do excellent.